Hello to viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Future Friday, we're going to talk about who the heck is responsible part 2. I'm assuming you have seen last Friday's episode. So, a brief overview. You must have noticed that people worldwide has lost faith in the future. Now, here's the deal. Faith word is very important because we all run on it. And I do not mean faith in God or religion or church or temple or mosque, whatever have you. I mean faith is an integral component of human psychology, not science, psychology. And it was always there. It does not matter whether you have faith in your wife, it does not matter whether you have faith in your family, it does not matter whether you have faith in your culture, it does not matter whether you have faith in your society, whatever have you, or even in your country, you have to have it. Now, why is that? Well, here's the deal. Humans live in ultra uber complex reality, as in every variable has multiple billions of variable, meaning no matter what you do, you cannot calculate the outcome. That is horrifying. In those sort of scenario, the only way you can handle it is having faith in something, and that something has to be a bit nebulous, something that you cannot just quantify, because once you quantify, that itself becomes a variable. So faith is very important. That's how we endured hell of the past, as in droughts, floods, basically natural disaster. Heck, it's so shocking to us that, oh, hundreds of people died in this sort of flood or tsunami. It's in hundreds. Like, we used to have a scenario where volcano just used to shift, delete a civilization, and empires used to go away simply because of one very, very bad tsunami and things of this nature. So we went from that sort of a helpless state to crying over hundreds of people. That's how strong we have become recently. And again, famine, be it man-made, be it natural, be it plagues, and be it world wars, all of that we have endured, and somehow we are breaking now. Like, that's the odd part. And here's the nihilism is becoming a normal zeitgeist right now, as in it was always there. Let that be very clear. Same way faith was always there, faith has to be always there. Nihilism was also a counterpoint to it, almost like it used to exist, but it was always a fringe idea. Something has changed in modern reality, that it has started to creep into normal day-to-day zeitgeist. That's the scary part of it. And mental crisis, which is genuinely scary, that our mental health has deteriorated to such a point that it does not make sense. Like, okay, it makes sense if one or two people have some issues, but like, that is not what's happening. Almost every young one, as in like people who are between 22 or 30, almost all of them are suffering. And like, how the heck that happened? And given the fact that tangibly we are all prosperous, like, people are like, oh, we have inflation. It's like, have you seen inflation of World War One after basically after World War One ended? What happened to Germany, or what happened to other countries, Venezuela? It's like, most people who are bitching about inflation have never experienced brutal inflation, and we survived all of that in past, and somehow we are breaking now, even though that's not actually happening to us. And like, for example, Indian people say, oh, it's so hard to system. Have you seen India when it got independence? It was bad, it was rough. So, and somehow we endured that. Like, tangibly, if you calculate tangibly, it is much better. Like, right now we are in much better state, but we are not able to have the peace, the joy that we should have, simply because this is breaking apart. Why this is breaking apart? Our faith system has collapsed. Like, and you would notice this. Something happened in the year 2000, that people started to hate themselves. Let that be very clear. Themselves. Again, they once you start to hate yourself, you generally externalize it. Oh, I hate them. Oh, I hate that. Like, generally, whenever you have bad feelings, it's just a mirror of what you think. Like, if you are a good person, you generally assume the front person is good one. Of course, you might say, oh, that's naive. No, like, literally, that's how civilization is built. If everyone is out for themselves, there won't be a civilization. There will be a jungle rule. It will not have skyscrapers, buildings, technology, science, mathematics. Most of the time, of course, let's just say 80-20 rule. 80% of the time people will reciprocate your generosity. 20% of the time they will stab you. Fine, people work, and again, that's how it works. But somehow something changed, and everybody's like, no, everybody's out for themselves. Like, how the heck that happened? Like, if you watch old documentaries, anything before 2000, you would notice there was a simple, oh, we had this problem and this is what we're going to do to solve it. Now we have a problem, and everybody's like, what if we did not have people? How the heck that happened? Like, every problem is like, oh, we have, like, if you give me the ideas, like, okay, India's population is growing, we're gonna have water scarcity, how the heck we can solve it? I'll be like, okay, you do low temperature thermal desalination, you will do rainwater harvesting, you stop building dams, you destruct every bad dam, and whatever dams you do already have, make sure all the water that is being siphoned, it does not siphon by canals, it's siphoned by pipes, so actually water goes whatever you need to. So there are a lot of options. I'll solve it. But right now it's like, what if we poof the people? Like, antinatalism. Like, what if we poof the people itself? It's like, no, people have problem, not that people are the problem. So this idea switch that happened recent times, where like people have problem to people are the problem, that created a scenario where solvable problems are unsolvable now, like flat out. Like global warming is a basic pitch problem, like basic pitch, energy level wise. Like Rudolf Diesel solved it. That's how basic pitch it was. We had the right tools. We went, instead of going from Gen 1 to Gen 2 to Gen 3, which would have solved all the problems, we went Gen 1 to and then we just spiraled. And every time we are like, it's hilarious to see how quickly we are destroying ourselves, even though our ancestors solved it. It's like, bro, he started to grow crops to grow fuel, and they learned very quickly that you cannot do that because our consumption scales. The only way to do that was to find something better. We did during basically oil embargo crisis. Just few years after that, a research project was triggered. It created the algae fuel program, and then we started to realize that it will still consume too much water. It will still consume too much surface area to do on a land. Then Gen 3 fuel was created, seaweed biofuel. And we are going round and round burning planet Earth by, oh, what if we shift deleted all forest and grow ethanol on it? It will not work. You do not have enough surface area to do so. What if we shift deleted all the food crops of USA and then put corn there? It will not work. It will destroy the environment and the public, and people will like, why food is getting expensive. Like we have seaweed biofuel is the only thing that could work, and people are like, oh, it's expensive. Oh yeah, ethanol is cheap. After billions of dollars of subsidy, then you are like, oh, one is that will actually scale up, because again, you do not provide water, you do not farm there, and we're like, oh, but what if it causes harm to the sea? If you do not, you cause harm to the whole planet. So that's the whole point. Solvable problem became unsolvable because everybody's like, what if we keep running in the loop? It's like, no, solve. So let's dive deep into it. Now, how the heck we reached this point? Well, again, it's not the 1%er. Let me be very clear. The smartest people ever born on this planet Earth in human culture is politician. It does not matter how rich or poor your country is, politician will always be rich. It does not matter whether it's capitalism, socialism, or communism, politician will always be rich. It does not matter whether it's South Korea or North Korea, politician will always be rich. So they are the smartest people when it comes to how to manipulate people. And how can they do that? They know most people are doing this, intellectual laziness. As in, when internet started in 90s, people were very hopeful, very optimistic that there will be knowledge and people will know. And you're like, what about fake knowledge? They knew that fake knowledge will not last. Why? Because that's what you teach kids in school, how to analyze whether the data fact is true or not. That's the whole point of schooling system. So you can do it. The whole point of science is like, do not do argument from authority. Do your own goddamn mathematics. You're not supposed to say equal to mc square because Einstein said it. You're supposed to be able to draw it in mathematics. And again, that's a bit high level, equal to mc square, but other things like voltage, amps, you can do all the experimentation. And again, that's why you're supposed to have science practical classes in school. So imagine in that world, somebody sold you like, flat earth. Your brain will easily figure out. It's like, okay, you say world is flat, cool, awesome, GG. What are the prediction? Can those prediction be matched with the reality? Simple, done, go home. It does not. So how the heck that happened that people fell for it? Well, intellectual laziness. Using this puppy, you have to inherently understand that thinking takes a lot of energy and effort. Not only you will get tired after thinking, you will actually have to put effort. It's like, let me think it through. Like, it's like, it's almost like driving a manual car. It's like, you have to really think it through. So, and that's why people fell for ChatGPT so quickly, because that effort part is hard. And if you have not built up a basically muscle system to do that, because be mindful, this puppy consumes more energy than all your muscle systems. Like, this puppy is hungry. So you have to build it like from your 20s to 30, or even as early as like, curiosity wise, as every scientist says, 15 to 25, you should have the habit of thinking things through, like one step, second step, third step, fourth, like through, not just thinking through. Once you do that, only then you will have muscle power to actually grow up. If you do not, you will fall into intellectual laziness. And again, let that be clear. It's not that humans are dumb. It's simply because that's what programmed in our DNA. Then why the heck we survived so far if that was programmed in our DNA? Well, yeah, because world did not change. Like, I can easily go rotate the clock, let's say 1000 years ago, and then I can take a couple, throw it backwards to like 1000 years back. Nothing would change. As long as they can learn the language, they will be fine. Things did not used to change. Like for 10,000 years, things did not used to change. And everything started to change after like, let's just say 1850s. I'm being optimistic there. But basically, once our calendar started to say 19, things rapidly changed. So inherently, that created a scenario where like, that our shortcut seeking and confirmation bias algorithms started to backfire. Why it backfired? Because we are no longer in the simple world, and the world after 2000, that's complex AF. So in those sort of world, now it backfires a lot. So during 1900s, and again, poor people in 1900s did not change. It's the royalties that change. And again, till 1950s, basically after World War II, there was a boom event that where everything changed. Before that, it was like if you are in poor place, you're like you have never seen anything fancy, and then tanks are rolling by. It's like what the hell? So things happen. Like things happen. Our world has changed way too quickly, and our biology is fighting it, so to say. So what is the penalty if if you do not get control of your biology? Well, fundamentally, it will cause harm. Basically, you will inherently do things that you should not do, and that will cause harm to you and your family and to your future. So that's the problem. And again, this is why politicians are so smart. They always know how to do manipulation and obfuscation of truth. This obfuscation of truth is the most horrifying part, meaning they can lie to your face and you will believe it. That's why they are so rich, even in a poor country. So, like, I'll give you a simple example. Common people should have enough brain that they see solar panel, they see solar farms. This is a normal thing. It's not like quantum physics or CERN collider. It's a normal thing. You see, like, people plane it, like angle it to the sun. They try to do their best to make it perpendicular to the sun. And somebody comes to you and is like, hey, what if I put it under the road? Your brain should instantaneously trigger a red alert that this is a dumb idea. The moment somebody's like, we're going to have a transparent material and the car is going to drive on it, your brain should be like, bro, we can't do that for our watch crystals. We can't do that for our smartphone, and you're going to do that for road. Like, your brain should instantaneously have that. But again, only people who did not fall into this intellectual laziness, they will think of that instantaneously. It's like, nah, bruh. Like, no. But then how the heck people burn billions of dollars? Obfuscation of truth. You did not wanted to engage this puppy, and they must know. Like this guy, Nikola, truck company, ooh la la, hydrogen orgasm. But here's the deal. If you are lazy, you will just believe him. But if you are actually thinking through, it's like, okay, let me look into the technology. Oh, wait a minute. Hydrogen is similar age as, if not older, than lead acid battery. Oh, and lithium ion battery, that only got patented in 1990s. Lithium ion is recent technology. And again, you can easily look into NASA's report, because again, everything is public from NASA's domain point of view. And again, you can easily see I spot it. So basically in Apollo, they were using hydrogen fuel cell. They were using a hydrogen fuel cell for space shuttle. Then why the heck all modern projects removed fuel cell? They have clear data available. You can study it. You can look into it. You can understand, hey, 8 megajoule is not enough compared to 32 megajoule. That's why fuel, basically using hydrogen as a fuel, it does not work unless you have infinite source of hydrogen, which you do not. And like, okay, what if we make hydrogen with water? Somehow you do not understand that hydrogen is a very small component of water. Even though you studied that in school, you will not think, oh, 1 liter of water does not mean 1 liter of hydrogen. It's teeny tiny amount of hydrogen. Very tiny amount of hydrogen. And not to mention the conversion efficiency, you will burn 3x the power. Again, it's a common thing. We have done that. Like, you are like, okay, what if we build planes on hydrogen? We've done that. What if we build trucks on hydrogen? We've done that. What if we do this on hydrogen? Done that. Everything that you can think of on hydrogen has been done. And it has been done, it has been run, and then we learned the hard way that it does not work. And people fell for it. Why? Because people were intellectually lazy. Like this example, SpaceX Hyperloop. Now, this was brain dead idea from day one. And again, I called it out 7 years ago, and people who are much smarter than me called out the day one when he opened his mouth. It's like, we're going to do a Hyperloop test system. And again, how did those people knew that this will be a scam? Well, very simple. They did mathematics. They did the mathematics of people who are actually doing high-speed railway, people who are doing metro, people who are doing normal train system. And they were like, this is calculated. Like, okay, how much steel you are talking about? That steel versus the steel of the rail. Just on that steel calculation, it's like, yeah, it's not going to work. Like, just the amount of steel required. Nothing else, just on the same. Why? Because again, you are only amortizing the cost by basically the tickets you are selling. Your pods are not trains. Trains have hundreds of paying passengers. You will barely have 10, 20. That is not enough. And no matter how fast you are, and the faster you are, the less compactness you can have. Like a slow train, you can pack them tight enough. But if you're traveling at hundreds of kilometers per hour, you can't. So inherently that reduces the system. Plane has 3 axes of freedom. You can go up, down, back and forth. Here you have only 1 dimension of freedom, back and forth. Everybody knew that, like, but people believed it. Why? Because they were lazy. And like best example for this is Linus Tech Tips. I love that guy. I respect that guy from technical point of view. And he said the dumbest shit ever. Those engineers can't do mathematics. Like, engineer will work on any project if you pay them. Engineers worked on that. They knew better than me. They knew better than everyone, especially if they have actually read the literature. They were like, bruh, this guy is smoking some cocaine, man. Not good one. And again, same thing happened here. But what happened to this? Billions of dollars burnt. Oh, and this track, you can use Google Earth to go there, and it's like they removed it. There is a railway track. So how the heck people keep falling? Intellectual laziness. Our modern world does not afford us this luxury that you can be lazy. You have to engage this puppy. And so many of us are disengaging this puppy. It's backfiring. And I'm not hateful or blaming them, but you have to understand that. And you have to inherently apply disc brakes in your life before this shift deletes your brain. So this is how things started. That's why, like, even though we're supposed to be smartest, we are not, simply because intellectual laziness. Like, intellectual horsepower is a trained muscle, like how you go to gym. So what does it lead to? It leads to what we call fatalism. As in, without intellectual hard work, you will keep hearing this word, brain rots. As in, why kids are having hard time thinking through things? Because they're not thinking, they're just scrolling. Brain rot. So without thinking through things, understanding hydrogen, like, forget about it. Understanding hyperloop calculations, yeah, that's not happening. Like, they can't do two variables. The only thing you will fall back to is an argument from authority, even though science is built on that fact. Never do argument from authority. So brain rot happens. What happens after that? After your brain has rotten because you fell for intellectual laziness. Without processing power, you lose grip. Lose grip as in, like, you no longer are in charge or in control of whatever is happening. You're just going with the flow. Now, again, that was not an issue for thousands of years. It is an issue now. So without grip, like, if you lose your grip, world feels cold and cruel. As in, you will feel very hopeless. You will feel very hateful. It's like, what is happening? Why it's happening? I have no idea. Even though the world right now is the most equal it would have ever been, most optimistic it would have ever been, but you can't, because, again, inherently you lost your brain, and because of losing your brain, you fall into fatalism. And what does it mean? Well, it makes you depressed, like very depressed. What does that mean? That simply means you'll start to look for savior, as in this politician. You will find this in India, you will find this in Africa, you will find this in USA. Whenever people are going through bad stuff, they're like, this politician will save us. It's like, that's not how it works. You have to save yourself. Politicians will not save you. So be it Elon Musk, like, Elon Musk is saying, and people are buying that. It's like, Elon Musk company just promised to save Nashville traffic problems. I'm like, the guy successfully sold you a smoked cocaine version of a metro, and people believed it? That's the whole point. Metros are old, like century old. And people bought this thing. And there were so many people trying to defend this shit. I'm like, dude, the tunnel boring is like, he's developing technology. Tunnels boring machine is a sorted technology. Like, we got this. It has never been the weak link. The weak link is the red tape. Rarely ever you have a scenario where, like, tunnel boring machine failed. Now, again, it does happen, but it's very rare. Most of the time, it's the red tape, the bureaucracy, the funding and all that cause an issue. Rarely it's like, oh, the tunnel boring machine is not working. And the tunnel boring machine he used is not rocket science, which, again, I have no idea how many news channels started to talk about, oh, it's a rocket technology based. It's a company product, man. I can tell you the catalog of it. It's a sewage tunnel. And people just, like, orgasmed hard over it. It's like, oh, why? Fatalism. Because, again, you cannot control the world. So, and again, you do not even have grips on the world. So world feels cold and cruel. So you want a savior. You want to believe this to be true. You want Elon Musk to save you. You want Sam Altman to save you. Oh, this guy is driving a cheap car, so he must be good. It's like, you want it to be true. Not that it is true. You want it to be. You want to believe this guy. Again, I like Trump as a politician point of view. But the moment he opens his mouth about war, I'm like, brah, ease off the joint, man. I will. If I have that war settled in one day, 24 hours, I'm like, brah, like, study Russia. And again, he knows that people are lazy. That's why he is saying it. Now, if people were studying anything, which, again, mind you, I was calling it out that Ukraine made Russia bleed. It's not going to end well 4 years down the line. And again, 4 years ago, once I started to study what's happened in Chechenian war, I started to realize this is going to very long war. And again, you can study Cold War, you can study World War II, you can study all other smaller conflicts, and you'll get a better idea. But how the heck this happened? Because people wanted to believe it. That's what I keep saying, that politicians know how to utilize this fatalism. And you fall into fatalism simply because you let the grips go. You did not practice your muscle, as in, like, intellectual horsepower. You became intellectually lazy. That led you to this path. And fundamentally, it creates a void in you where you're like always searching for someone else to save you. Always. It does not matter whether it's this or this person or that person. You always want someone to save you rather than you saving yourself, because again, you lost grip. You fell into fatalism. That's the second stage of hell. Now, the third stage of hell, the apathy layer, is just that world is truly complex. And again, we make decisions every day, whole life. And yes, deal. To make decisions, you have to have faith. For faith to actually work, you have to have some level of competency. For some level of competency, you need intellectual honesty. You have not been practicing that. That led you to fatalism. That leads to you apathy layer. As in, apathy makes you lose all hope. And you will notice that in young people now, especially people who are in like 20s to 30s, like nothing matters. Because again, that whole brick by brick, the whole structure eroded in them. So, and the worst output of apathy is that you lose the ability to take action. For example, New York had like shift delete level problem with what we call store robbery. Again, it could have been solved even without the liberal brain damage of what you call state. It could have been solved if people reacted day one. Like the moment they said, like they reacted. Like, how your community is supposed to do that. That was the whole point of community. Community apply brakes before things get out of hand. Like it's like if your train is going downhill, you apply brake once you see the downhill. You do not apply brake. Oh, let me catch up speed, then apply brake. Yeah, it's really useless. So apathy allows you to lose hope, and after you lose hope, you lose the will to take actions. You will not take actions, and again, action has to be taken today and not 10 years from now. So this leads to spiral downwards, meaning you will have one bad year and then it will lead to 10 bad years, then you're dead. So, and it's really destructive for human psychology. Human psychology cannot stay there. It feels edgy to be like, oh, nothing matters and this and then. You do not want your human psychology to. This puppy cannot handle that. It never evolved to handle that. It evolved to run on faith. Has to have faith. Again, let that be very clear. I do not mean faith in God or something like that. Faith in your family, faith in your future, faith in your country, heck, faith in science, but you have to have faith. And again, that creates a scenario where escapism starts to feel the only way. And again, this is my personal belief. I will never ever make basically drugs or anything substance illegal. I'll just simply say, do not expose kids to that. Like how you have alcohol. Why is that? Well, fentanyl is causing harm. No, fentanyl is the result of apathy. You effed up so many layers of brain that this becomes the only option. Like these people know that it's not good for them, but it's like there is nothing else to do. Nothing, like flat out nothing you can do, because again, they lost grip so well. So this is what you call output rather than the input. Like to give you a simple context, during Vietnam War, they had an issue. US government, they have a very good study on this. You can look into it. Where it's like, so many people were doing stuff and they were very scared. It's like, oh, these people will come back. We'll have so many violence and all that. And they came back. Everything was fine. Well, how the heck that happened? Well, here's the deal. There was a fundamental flaw in assumptions of drugs. What was that assumption? Well, you must have seen that they put normal water and they put drugged water, and rat had to choose which water is right. But again, some scientists finally figured out this is a faulty system. There is nothing for rat to do other than to drink that laced water, so to say, because there was no other option. So to update it, they put rats in a proper cage, as in like there was toys, there were things it can do, there were others to interact with, there was so many stuff. And it was not drinking that. That's the whole point. This is the output of system of failure. Like if you cage someone psychologically, then this happens. And again, that's why I never want to make cartels rich. I do not want to make politicians rich. I do not want to make weapons manufacturer rich. I want people to be rich. To have people to be rich is like, hey, you can put whatever you want, but this is not a good idea. Have a discussion, have a conversation, and like figure out how the heck they lost the grip so badly. So apathy is third layer. Let that be very clear. You're supposed to have decades of buffer in your brain before you reach to apathy layer. You should not reach apathy layer in 14, 15, unless your family is broken. If you have broken family unit, God help you. But that's the output. It's like how engineers make a flow chart. It's like, does it move? No. Should it? If yes, apply WD-40. If no, no problem. Should it? Does it move? Yes. Should it? No. Apply duct tape. Yes. No problem. That's the whole point of it. Apathy removes this part from you, whereas like things that could have been applied very comfortably. It's like, bro, this is minor issue, apply brakes, handle it now. And it becomes a untenable scenario, whereas like nothing can be done now. Like train has already picked up speed, now it's gonna derail. The end. So what about the wisdom layer of this? Well, thankfully there is some options here for you and me. First is, not all problems are equal. You have to inherently, it's like, I have hundreds of problems. No, you don't. Not all problems are equal. What does that mean? That simply means you have to write it down and figure out which problem is doable. Meaning, let's just say somebody gave you some bad news. Let's just say you have slip disc. I have slip disc, so I know. And it's like, yeah, it cannot be cured. Is that a problem? Yes. Is that my problem? No, because it's non-doable. I cannot do anything unless I have a time machine and go back and bitch slap my younger version who was like, sit properly in a computer chair and do not strain your back. If it starts to hurt, go to a doctor. Do not save money here. Again, it's not doable. But what is doable? Okay, I can do these things. I can do this thing. I can do physiotherapy. Like doable things. That's how you solve your problem. As in, what is doable? It's like, oh, I don't have money. Okay, can you work on it? No. Okay, then what is the next problem? Your house is messy. In this regard, I would say Jordan Peterson has a really good architecture on this. Do not listen to his word on getting married. He's old. His data is outdated. Go to family court near you for modern time so you can understand what will happen to you. And again, if something bad happens to you, you are the only one responsible for it because I told you to go to family court. You chose not to. So that's the whole point. Doable. What you can do. What you can't do is meaningless. So take action, solve one problem. It's as simple as that. Like you would be shocked. Like this part I do have to say. Jordan Peterson really gets it right. Clean your room. Like that's a doable action. Do it. You'll brain like, huh, I can do it. And again, that's the whole point of intellectual laziness. Like brick by brick, you lose your control. You cannot build it day one. Ta-da, I have an empire that can handle things. Nah, you have to build it brick by brick. So fundamentally, take options, solve one problem. And one thing that should scare you is that inaction has very heavy penalty. Meaning if you're like, just go with the flow, which again, our ancestors did, we do not have that luxury, you will regret it. And it's expensive. Like emotionally, psychologically, it is brutal. It will destroy you, so to say. So, and let me be very clear, failure is cheaper than regret. Meaning, if you took a risk in a business and it did not work out, no problem. You're going to sleep fine at night. You had an idea. You did not took a risk on it. You will hate yourself. And again, hate will take a long time to burn out and it will make your living life a living hell. Like I keep saying that Jeff Bezos scares me because he's so patient. Like he has a very simple idea. It's like, yeah, I thought Alexa will work. It did not work. No problem. Something else. Like very clear. It's like, I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew one thing I might regret, is not trying. As in, if you did not try, you will regret that. As in, like, it's better to regret trying and failing than to regret not trying at all. Like, again, I'm financially not flying. Let's just put it that way, realistically. So what if some company comes along, it's like, okay, we want to try something. Let's make a new engine. It's like, okay. It's like, oh, it's not likely to work. Who cares? Let me try it. If it works, GG. If it does not work, who cares? Like, I'll be just another dude, just peacefully sleeping simply because I did try it. It did not work. So fundamentally, you have to understand that regret is far expensive than basically failure. Far expensive. So, and how to navigate life? Very simple. Understand people. Like, okay, this part will be a bit bitter, but you have to understand there is a reason why scientists are not the richest people. Is that most of the money that you're ever gonna acquire in your life is not from your skill set. It's mostly how you deal with people. As in, like, you must have seen, like, hey, this person got promotion even though he's not really that good. I have to troubleshoot him. How the heck that's happening? People skill. Like, he's rich. People skill. He understands people. That's why I keep saying politicians understand people. And what about people? You have to understand there are only two things: money and cognitive dissonance. As in, why somebody is doing, like, a politician is doing something this, oh, that's how they are making money. Simple. Like, it's not that complex. But again, you have to be intellectually engaged. Then only you can, like, okay, let me think, let me put some things through. And again, all the answers, all the details is open to the public, because again, politicians rely on the fact that it was not hidden to you. Because again, hide it is like, ooh, naughty. But they obfuscate it. So even though answer is there, even though 8 megajoule is less than 32 megajoule, you will still believe hydrogen will work. So cognitive dissonance. This part you have to understand. Do not confront people. You can guide them. And again, only if they want to. You have to understand these two things: money and cognitive dissonance. And most of your life would be sortable. Again, if you're really messed up, start with that. Severity of problem is not important. Doability is, can you do something about it? If yes, only then worry about it. If not, don't worry about it. It's very simple. It sounds like, very easy, but again, it does become easy after you practice it. It's like a muscle. So again, I'm not saying that I have sorted all of this, but again, looking at the condition of younglings that are right now, it scares me. Like, I'm here, And I was looking, because again, I have the luxury of smart people, competent people. I'm like, oh, how far they are. And people are looking at me same way. I was like, what the hell happened? It's like, how the heck you fell that low? Oh, cascade failure. That's why I made this video in 2 parts. So, so this was my presentation on basically who is responsible. You are not the 1%er or politician. You are. I hope you have liked this video, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me excitement. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.